Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining the platform demonstration today. We'll just take a few moments here to let people come into the demonstration, make sure they can see the screen, make sure their audio is working. So we'll get started in just a few moments. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining the demonstration today. We're going to be looking at Cordial's email platform. It's a next generation email provider built on real time data. So this should be a really exciting demo, and can't wait to jump in and show you what the Cordial platform looks like and what it can do for marketers. My name is Justin Soni. I'm the manager of sales engineering at Cordial. So my day-to-day job is actually work with prospective customers who are looking to change their marketing, increase engagement overall, and essentially try to streamline a lot of maybe the tasks that they're doing right now and improve their overall marketing effectiveness. So today's demonstration is going to look at a couple different things. So things like subscriber acquisition, targeted segmentation, message and content automation. That includes machine learning as well. Subscriber trends, which we put into our analytics category. And some of the outcomes that I want people to take away from this are things that we'll talk about in very specific and some general terms as well. Things like maximizing conversions, that could be on your website, that could be through your email engagement, also increasing engagement rates overall from opens to clicks, and saving time through automation. So I've been in email marketing for a really long time. Don't want to date myself here, but probably about at least 10 years on the B2C side for many of those years, and then also on the sales engineering side as well. So kind of doing the job that I'm doing now and taking customers through demonstrations of the Cordial platform, showing them what that looks like and aligning their marketing goals with our solutions as well. So I've been in the space for quite a while, and one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of take a moment here to talk about why Cordial refers to our platform as a next generation email platform is because if you've been in marketing and especially email marketing for a while now, like I have, you'll know that there is an old way of doing things and a new way of doing things. Or maybe you haven't been exposed to the new way of doing things, but that's what we'll go through today. So the old way of doing things follows along a very common 80-20 rule in business where I'm spending 80% of my time doing maybe more tactical work, kind of day-to-day things that I need to do to personalize messages or extract data or, basically just get my marketing working. And 20% of my time, if I'm lucky, is spent on more strategic initiatives where I can launch new campaigns, increase revenue, and just overall improve the effectiveness of my marketing or whatever operation that I'm doing. The new way of doing things, which is what we classify the Cordial platform under, really flips that rule set. So this way you're doing much less work on the kind of tactical day-to-day where we automate a lot of that activity for you. And that actually frees you up to do a lot more work on the strategic side. So this way you can actually spend more time on campaign development and less time on some of the tactical day-to-day work, which, if you don't have the staffing for, can be really difficult to get done. So let's jump right into the product demonstration here and go over some of the categories that we talked about in the agenda. Before we do that, though, please feel free to use the chat window of the webinar software here to ask any questions throughout the demonstration. We're here looking at any comments or questions that come through so we can answer them directly within the chat window. Or if we can, maybe it's a longer conversation or something that needs a little bit more explanation, you can contact us afterwards. At the last slide of this presentation, we'll show you where to get in contact with us. And also we will be following up post-presentation within a couple days with recording of the demonstration here, some additional materials, including some case studies, one of which we'll profile today at the very end of the demo. So look for that within your email inbox within a couple days of the demonstration. So the first area that we're going to talk about today is subscriber acquisition and some of the methods that Cordial provides to attain new subscribers when people are interacting with your website. So let me exit out of our slides here and go right into our demo environment. So as you can see, one of the first methods that we can use is when somebody visits your website for the first time, or maybe they're a returning visitor, but we don't have their email information, is to present them with an incentive to join your marketing database using a modal pop-up box like this one. Very popular, one of the most highly converting ways of attaining new subscribers, and Cordial provides that for you so that this way we can actually start attracting new subscribers into our marketing database and increasing the overall amount of subscribers we can market to. Another method that we can use for that as well is very similar but a different layout. So this one uses kind of a header banner that we can use to capture new subscribers, very similar to the previous one in the modal box, but different style of presenting an email capture opportunity here. You can actually A/B test these different methods as well. So this way we can actually see which one provides us with more subscribers over time. Now, another popular way to capture new subscribers is during a very engaged kind of point of interaction. So as an example, if I'm in the shopping cart right now and I don't know who the subscriber is, maybe they're not in the email database yet, but I still want to try to capture them or save the opportunity in the event that they exit out of the shopping cart and don't continue with their purchase. So I'm not getting their customer information as they go through the checkout process. So one way that we can actually do this is if the person who's shopping exits the page, we can actually present an opportunity, maybe with an offer to capture their information, send them an email, and give them an opportunity to complete that purchase. So as you can see, my cursor is moving off the screen right now, and we're presented with a modal pop-up box, very similar to the very first one, but this one, of course, is presented as I'm exiting this engaged opportunity here while I have items in my cart. In this way, you can actually present maybe an offer code or a sign-up form within the modal pop-up box so that this way I can attain that subscriber and try to save this opportunity to convert them into a customer. So now that the subscriber is in our database, I want to make sure I'm collecting as much information about who that person is before I start messaging them. One of the ways that Cordial does that is by capturing every single detail across multiple channels about that person's interactions. So if they visited you, let's just say on your website, and they're interacting with maybe products or search activity, or they have items in their shopping cart, Cordial is going to actually capture all the details of that interaction and automate that data for you to create meaningful targeted segments and content, as well as triggered messaging off of the exact same data. So let me escape out of here and go back into our web environment so you can see what that looks like. In this example, I'm viewing a product on the Cordial Threads website. And Cordial is actually picking up on this very specific interaction and capturing all the details associated with my activity. That includes all the information that's specific to this particular product, and it's storing that underneath my profile. So if I go into the Cordial user interface here, you can actually see a record of all of the products that I viewed in this specific example, including all of the details of that product. Now we can actually take this information in real time and turn that into a targeted segment based on any of the criteria, including recency, frequency, categories that I'm viewing or that other people are viewing as well, and also turn this information into content as well. So that way we can automate messages with personalized details of my last interactions, last items I browsed, recommended items that could be associated with the different products that I'm currently viewing. So let's go into an example of what that looks like next. So next, let's look at segmentation and how we build out custom audiences in real time. So within the Cordial platform, you actually have access to real-time data across all sorts of different types of interactions, as well as customer profile data that you'd like to use within a targeted segment. So let me show you an example of how we would build out a targeted segment for maybe a campaign that we want to send out. So in this view here, you can see our rule set builder, all drag and drop, very user friendly across a ton of different data that's available to you. So profile data, meaning string fields like first name, last name, preferences, numbers is the second one here that you can see. That would include things like lifetime value as an example, maybe age, geolocation, purchases, custom events like the product view that we looked at earlier, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner here, and all sorts of behaviors across past messages as well. So their message history, behavioral clicks or opens, their current cart items. As we collect that information in real time, we're actually going to look at another example of cart items in real time as well. But this way we can actually show you a lot of different information that we're picking up on and being able to segment on very easily. So let's build out a custom segment right now with just a few different attributes to show you, one, the simplicity of it, and two, the real-time nature of the audience count. So as I select different criteria to be added into my segment here, let's just select a few different ones here, really easy to do. As an example, if I wanted to target both male and female as part of gender targeting that I want to do here, you can see I'm getting a real-time result from my database in sub-second time. So I'm not waiting to see how many people could potentially be in that campaign I'm going to send a message to. And as I continue to add in different rule sets here, I can actually start to pick up on what that audience might look like as I get more refined. So let's just say we're going to look at lifetime value as well, and we'll start at 100. So to return pretty much the same result, but let's go maybe up to 200 or 300, and you can see it's starting to get much more targeted in real time, so I know exactly the size of the audience that I could select here and what that potential audience size could be before I ever send out a message or even start creating that message. So this gives you the opportunity to become extremely targeted in the way that you build out segments and start to add different information into who might be a part of that segment. So let's add one more here, maybe geolocation, which is a very popular one for a lot of marketers as well. And we'll say that the geolocation maybe matches a certain country. The country list pops up for you, and I can just select maybe the United States as an example here. So this way I have men and women over $300 lifetime value within the United States. Simply done. Real-time result that I can use here to either create a campaign and send a message to, or I could also take this audience and upload that audience into Facebook as maybe part of a retargeting campaign or customer acquisition campaign as well, if I want to use something like lookalike modeling for some of my best customers that are over a certain lifetime value with a certain targeted region as well. So another way that Cordial is using real-time data is to capture the information that's specific to my interactions and take that data and turn it into automated content. So one of the ways that we can do that was in the previous example of looking at maybe a product view. But in this example, what we're going to do here is do an abandoned cart message, so you can see how I can take real-time interactions like adding items into my shopping cart and turn that data into automated content. So if I go into a template within the Cordial platform here, like this one that you're seeing, which is abandoned cart template, when I view my profile information within this template, it's going to pick up on my real-time activities on the website. So as you can see, it added the item that's currently in my shopping cart in real time. So if I go back and change out my cart, maybe add in a different item, it's going to automatically pick up on that information and take that data and turn it again into real-time content. So this is an automated way for you to do campaigns like browse, abandoned cart, past purchases, and turn that content into an automated personalized message. So as you can see, it's adding items into my shopping cart email template here, but it's also adjusting the template as we go. So you can see now that I added a different category, it's going to take recommended items or sale items and adjust those to my current interests. So no matter what I do on the site, it's actually picking up on that information, adjusting the template here. So just remove that product. We're back to just the shirt now, and it's adjusted the recommended items in accordance with what I'm currently viewing or what's in my shopping cart. So an email I might receive from here could look something like this, completely updated with relevant information that's specific to what I'm currently viewing. Now, I also want to be able to automate this message as easily as possible. So that way, when somebody does perform an action, I know this message is going to be delivered with the criteria that I set for who should receive that message. So let me show you an example of how this message is actually delivered or triggered within the Cordial platform. So within our automation dashboard here, we take a very, very simplified approach to being able to set up a triggered message. So this way marketers are in full control of how messages get deployed and under what conditions. In this case here, what you're seeing is that I'm using a custom event, which is our abandoned cart event here. So I've added items in my cart, but I haven't purchased within a certain time frame, which the marketer can set within the UI here. So in terms of delivery time, that can be an immediate send, or you can delay that sending up to X number of minutes, hours, or days, and then handle the other interactions that could happen in between the time that I abandon my shopping cart and I receive that message, and apply the right criteria to whether I should receive that message or not. So in this example, if I go back and I'm continuously adding items into my cart, let's just say I've set a 1-day trigger on this message. So the next day I'll receive an abandoned cart message after the events occurred. But if I go back in between that time and I'm continuously adding items into my shopping cart, well, we can restart the timer there, so I'm not sending out more messages while you're actually, currently in the process of purchasing an item or browsing and searching and still kind of deciding what you might want to purchase. Or if there's a purchase event that happens within that time frame, I can actually cancel the sending of that message as well. So this is a great way for the marketer to control all the criteria and rule sets for who should receive that message and when, and also control how often somebody should receive that message. So maybe once only for things like a welcome message, but maybe unlimited for things like maybe a lost password as an example. Once an hour, once a day, or what's common is a custom interval where maybe I can only receive this message once every, let's just say, 10 days. So very simplified way for you to set up that triggered message and deliver personalized, automated content in real time. One of the outcomes of our demo today was to show you how Cordial can increase engagement and conversion using machine learning for your most highly converting messages, including welcome messages and abandoned cart messages, as you saw in the previous example. So let's jump into the platform and show you how we can A/B test subject lines, promotions, call to actions, recommendations within an email template and use machine learning to automatically pick out the best content and increase our engagement overall. So let's go back and use our abandoned cart message template here as a way to show you how machine learning can actually help accelerate your engagement within your most highly converting messages. So in the abandoned cart template that you're seeing in front of you right now, Cordial is actually running what we call experiments. And that's our term for testing within automated messages. So there's a couple tests that are going on here right now, and I'll explain and show you what those look like. So one of the tests that's happening here is that I'm actually trying to find out which campaign offer is going to increase engagement via more clicks. I'm also testing which subject line is going to get more opens on this particular message. So if I open up the experiments panel here, you can see that I've got two experiments running. One's a call to action, which is our hero image that you're seeing in front of you. And the other is the subject line, which you can see just above the template here. So what I'm doing is actually running multiple versions of my call to action and multiple versions of my subject lines. So what you'll actually notice here, before I even show you how this looks and some of the results we have so far, is that I'm using only two subject lines and I'm using three different call to action. So 3 different views of this particular offer, which means that I don't need to have very strict A, B, C, D testing throughout my content. So I don't need to marry content with subject lines in order to do tests within Cordial. I can actually use as many subject lines as I'd like, or as many different content pieces as I'd like, without having to align them all together. So this way it frees me up to actually test out just the things that I want, rather than have to minimize or maximize some of the campaign content that maybe I don't want to test at this time. So let's look at our call to action as one example. Here I'm testing out a couple different images, one being a lifestyle shot, 2 is a luxury product shot of this pair of sunglasses, and then I'm also testing out a mid-range product as well. You can see it's the same offer, but I'm just trying to test and see which people are clicking more on mid-range or luxury or lifestyle shot, what's getting me the most engagement. And then when it comes to the subject lines, I'm testing out a couple different terms here. So I'm looking at you left some items in your cart. And I'm also looking at your cart items miss you. So just some different language that I can test out and see which gets me more opens, which one gets me more clicks. So if we look at some of the results from this test, what we'll find is that the Cordial machine learning algorithm is applying email volume as it sends new messages to the different pieces of content as it tries to find in a very rapid fashion the best performing content. So because this message is actually currently sending and it's at a very early stage, as you can see with the message volume here only being 56 messages, you're starting to see a little bit of a breakaway with the mid-range product that we were looking at in the email template, and with the left cart items subject line. But the volume's really low on this message, so the algorithm is actually testing out still all these different variations to find the best performing content. Now, if we look at a campaign that has much more volume applied to it, what Cordial can actually do with our machine learning algorithm is quickly find, as you can see here, 2,600 messages, we can quickly find the variation that is performing better and automatically start to apply volume to that better performing content. So this way you're getting the best subject line, the most engaging content applied to more email subscribers as they start to receive messages, rather than to wait days, weeks, sometimes months for some of the older testing methods to find the best content that works to get you more engagement. This is a great way to use machine learning to be pushing past some of those traditional benchmarks of 20% open rates up into 25, 30, and above. So this is a great way that we're actually increasing engagement overall using machine learning in a very simplified way for marketers. So the last section that we'll look at today is analytics, specifically how the marketer can view subscriber trends and take meaningful action on any patterns or recognition of a trend that they see. So let's jump into the UI and show you an example of what that looks like. So in this example here, what I'm doing is visualizing data that Cordial captures and creating a chart for things that I'd like to see. In this example, we're looking at purchases as a specific event type. Could just as easily be search or browse or any event that I want to visualize. And I'm breaking that out by specific categories. In this case, we're looking at women's shirts, shoes, and pants. And over this specific time frame from December 1st to 17th, I can actually see the trend in what's happening with interest around that category. So here I can see the number of purchases for each category, and I can easily switch either the event that I'm viewing. So rather than purchase, maybe I want to look at search or browse or favorited or shared. And I can also break that out by list as well. So in the bottom chart here, I can see purchase by gender rather than by category. And that can actually inform the way that I want to move forward with future campaigns or future content. So let me show you how easy that is to actually visualize this information. So any chart that I actually create in Cordial provides all the data that I need to visualize any type of event across any specific properties or attributes for that event. So in this case, we're looking at browse as one example for properties around certain categories like shirts or shoes, and putting a label on what it is that I'd like to see. So very easy to create these different tables. And I can also choose an audience to filter that by as well. So in the section below in the previous chart, we're looking at male and female, but I could easily switch that out to any segment that I created, no different than how I created the audience segment previously in the demonstration. So this is a great way for me to actually come in and create some easy visualizations and choose the different charts and graphics that I'd like to see. So this way I could see stacked column as volume. I can overlay different audiences like you're seeing in the male and female, or I can look at line graphs if I want to see a couple more trends and patterns that are developing. So really great way for me to come in and visualize that data, something that marketers have unfortunately not been able to do in the past without a third-party solution. Cordial actually provides that directly within the user interface. Just before we wrap up today's demonstration, I wanted to share some quick highlights of a case study with one of our great clients, Teleflora. They were able to actually increase email revenue 20% year over year using Cordial's experiments, which is our machine learning algorithm that you saw previously in the abandoned cart message. They were also able to decrease campaign creation time from days to minutes using our campaign automation, and they were now able to service 100% of their partner sites, part of going from the old way to the new way. We'll actually send you out some more case studies after the demonstration as well, so make sure to look for that in your email inbox. So thank you guys very much for attending, and feel free to follow up with any questions at all. You can see the email address right here, questions@cordial.com. Just feel free to send us a message with any follow-up or additional questions. And thank you so much for joining and attending today's demonstration of the Cordial Marketing Platform.